Wizard101 is a game that I have a weird relationship with. I mean, obviously, I love the game. I have a YouTube channel dedicated to this game. I would say that I've played this game more than the average person. The game doesn't have an hour count, but if I had to guess, I have anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 hours on this game. But here lately, it's been a little hard to enjoy this game. It just feels different, a little bit lacking in what it used to be, and dare I say, soulless.
Oh, please. I have no soul.
Now, of course, I still love this game, and I will still probably be addicted to it and still continue to make videos whenever I hit that Wizard101 phase. But today I wanted to take a minute to talk about the state of the game as of late 2023. I want to talk about the things that make me feel this soulless feeling when I play. Just keep in mind that a lot of these things that I talk about are my personal opinion. Not everybody's gonna believe what I say, and that's fine. I just feel a certain way about certain features of this game, and I want to share how I feel, because I'm very passionate about these things. There's a lot of things I have to say about this. Some good, some bad, but if I'm being honest, it's mostly bad. So let's get into it. Spells are a huge part of this game. They're ever-growing and ever-changing. New spells tend to get added every major update, which seems nice if it weren't for the fact that most of these spells are literally useless when you consider how effective the meta of this game is. There are very few situations in this game where blading into an AoE attack is not the answer. The game has been trying to give us interesting spells with unique abilities here, but I almost never end up using these spells besides testing them out on Lost Souls.
Die, potato!
The saddest part is that I like these spells. The animations are great, and they have character to them. And the worst part is, I have the desire to use more spells. I want to change up the spells that I use in this game. But not only does the game not give me a reason to use more spells, but it even punishes you from deviating from the meta. If you go into a fight trying to do something other than blade into AoE, it's either going to take a really long time, or you're just gonna die because the boss is too strong and you need to be efficient enough to kill them in time. This really does not leave you room to use your spells very often. Most of the time you just end up using one or two spells for the entirety of the game, which that's always been the case, because if the game were to promote a more diverse use of spells, it would require a major overhaul to how the game works, and how spellcasting works, and oh wait, they already did that. School pips are a complete overhaul to the pip system in this game. Basically, you can change your pip type, some spells needing multiple pip types to be used, but most only require you to have a school pip of the coinciding spell type. Does this work? I mean, it's alright. Does it make me want to stop using the meta of blade into AoE and use other spells and spells from different schools? Not at all. Does it confuse the heck out of new players and deter veteran players from returning to the game? Absolutely. Wizard101's player base is comprised of primarily people who played when they were younger, and like to be reminded of a simpler time. When you change a core mechanic of the game that has been there since day one, it deters these people who want to play the game they remember. Don't get me wrong. Change can be done tastefully, and it can be beneficial to the game, but I firmly believe that this change has hurt the game more than helped. It doesn't make me want to multi-class, and the spells that use school pip types are almost all garbage spells that are so situational that you'll almost never find yourself using them. Also, this is a personal nitpick, but I think the school pips are kind of just ugly and they overly complicate the UI. It used to look so clean with just the white and yellow pips, and now you have all of these colors that just look a little bit out of place. The new pip system isn't even overly complex. It's just when you put this new thing in front of players who know how the game works originally, it becomes very confusing. They have to rethink the entire way they play the game. This was such a major change, and the goal here was to get people to play differently. They wanted people to deviate from the meta. They wanted people to multi-class. And to an extent, it does work. I haven't really played early game with school pips, I will not lie. Maybe there's a better chance to multi-class early game. I could see that being the case. But late game? No. There's no reason to multi-class. It doesn't work well. The only time I ever found myself using these school pips is when the game forced me to, in the final boss of Novus. And even then, it wasn't fun, it wasn't an enjoyable fight. I have more to say about this fight later, but keep in mind that school pips are a thing, and they're kind of deterring people from playing at this moment. I don't know about people other than me, but when I see this and it makes me want to play the game less, I know it's doing it to other people too. Speaking of things being confusing and deterring old players, this one pretty much speaks for itself. Along with the new spells added to the game recently, new utilities have come out with them. One slight problem though. These utilities are not explained. Like, at all. They're often represented by symbols on cards that are never really explained to you. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a Reddit post about someone asking, what does this card do? Because these cards are literally hieroglyphics. I'm not going to lie. Not even I feel like I understand what half of these symbols mean. Me, a veteran player with probably thousands of hours, no clue what this stuff means. And honestly, why would I care what they mean when I can just blade into AoE and my problems are solved anyways? So not only are these spells hard to figure out how to use, but once you do, they're not even that helpful. Can you see how this is damaging to the game? Because personally, I've thought about picking this game back up several times, only to log in, see this kind of thing, and immediately log off. I am all for new mechanics, but this game seems to be throwing stuff at us. Stuff that doesn't really work. It's just more stuff to learn, and when you do learn it, it's like there's no benefit to having put in the effort to learn it, so why would you? I have heard though that there are intentions of fixing these cards being hard to read, which is great. I'm all for that. It's just not good that we've gone this long having basically unreadable cards. Okay, it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. Oh god, not him, not him, not him. Wizard101 is certainly no stranger to monetization. It never has been. But I can't be the only one who feels like it's gotten much worse lately, can I? It feels like there's constantly new bundles being pumped out that have little care put into them and are blatantly just cash grabs. Things have been added into the game, like the Scroll of Fortune, which is essentially a battle pass for Wizard101. Who wanted that? Does anyone actually pay for this? Nothing on this is worthwhile, and it costs $10. They don't even give you crowns for this. It's just junk. Every corner you turn in this game, you will find some form of monetization lurking. And sometimes it isn't even lurking, it's just right in your face. Okay, so I just wanted to go on a little bit of a tangent here. I want to try something. So what we're going to do here is we're going to open up the Wizard101 app, we're going to look at the launcher, and we're going to see how many of these little news things are news about monetization, things that you can spend money on, and how many of these things are actual news for the game. So let's open up the launcher here and let's check. Okay, skeleton key bundles, monetization, 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 monetization. That's actual news. Monetization, monetization, monetization. Charity work, I appreciate this a lot. Merch, I'm fine with merch, I think the plushies are cute. News, actual news, a new world, monetization, 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 news, news, monetization, 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 monetization. I don't even know how to say that word anymore. I've said it so many times. This is ridiculous. Every time I start this game, I see this, and it seriously deters me. I don't want to see this much stuff being advertised as soon as I start the game. It's a little ridiculous. The game is predatory by locking the best stats you can get behind paywalls. I've personally fallen victim to this too, wanting your characters to be the absolute best, being just one piece of gear away from having those perfect stats, but the last item you need, it's in a pack. A pack you have to pay real money for. You could either spend $5 and get lucky and get it, or spend upwards of $60 and still not have that last piece of gear that you need. I don't even mind microtransactions in this game. I understand that they're necessary for the company to function, but this feels like it's too much. I don't want to have to open loot boxes to get the best gear options in the game. Also, if you're wondering what gear I'm referring to, I'm primarily referring to the Bronto mounts that give a damage boost as a set bonus. Not only is it rare to get a permanent Bronto, but there are 3 different variations of the Brontos that different schools have to use to get their specific school boosts, but you also have to be lucky enough to get just the right one. This is downright devious, and I'm honestly sad to admit that this worked on me. My Storm has a Bronto mount because I didn't want to feel left out. I wanted high stats, I wanted to be the best, and I was so close to being perfect with the free gear you can get. Getting one more piece of gear with crowns just felt trivial. And that's how they want you to feel about it. They want you to fall into the trap of one more pack. I'm bound to get it soon. $60 later, your wallet is empty, and you still don't have the one piece of gear you need. It feels like there's constantly more paid content, and not enough free content. We get the same seasonal events every single year. Nothing ever changes. No care or thought is put into how to make the holidays feel special, because all the care for this game is being put into paid premium content that isn't even good in the first place. Okay, maybe not all of the care is being put into premium content, but a good chunk of it is. And I really wish the game would focus on the portion of the player base that are not the whales. I know that's not where the money's at, but it would just make the game better. Switch things up. Give us a new Halloween event. I'm tired of doing the same thing every year. It loses its charm very quickly. Now, the devs could do something with this. They could give us something fun, but it's the same every year. But hey, check out that new bundle. Doesn't that look shiny? One thing I just kind of want to rant about a little bit is the current best way to get the best gear in the game. The game has always had a specific set of best gear that you can obtain, which I'm fine with. I like being able to farm for the gear, I like feeling powerful once I've done it, and I like feeling accomplished. What I don't like is that the final boss of the game, right now, is where you get the best gear. And this fight takes upwards of 20 minutes to complete every time. And it's not a fight where you're sitting there thinking and strategizing. No, the only reason it takes so long is because the game polymorphs you into another school and forces you to multi-class. It's not fun. On top of this absurdly long boss fight, the gear drop rates are horrible. I'm not kidding when I say I have done over 100 runs of this boss fight trying to get the right gear. And let me do some math real quick. That's 33 hours alone just farming this fight, which that's enough time to complete a game on its own. That's some AAA games right there. I don't mind farming, I really don't, but it should not take this long, and it actually made me lose my sanity farming for gear on this fight. I'm somebody who has like 5 different max characters, and I like to have the best gear for all of my characters. So not only did I have to go through this and get the gear for one of my characters, but I had to do it for 5 of them, and I genuinely lost my sanity. It's just straight up not fun. I've seen so many people complain about this specific fight, but hopefully when Wallaroo comes out, the new best gear in the game will be different, and this fight will be irrelevant. That's all I can hope for. Alright, that was a lot of negativity. Maybe we can talk about some things that the game has been doing well with. For example, we get a new world every year, a new place to explore, new spells, new story. You might be saying, okay, so anyone can update their game yearly, but how's the actual quality of these worlds? And I'm sure, to a lot of people's surprise, the new worlds we've been getting as of late have been some of the best worlds we've seen in the game. Of course, this is just my personal opinion, but I really like them. There was a bit of lull in quality when Imperia came out, if you ask me, but besides that, Caramel? A fun world with fun enemies and a plot that has darker undertones than you might imagine. Lemuria? A creative and diverse love letter to the game itself, making what is, in my opinion, tasteful callbacks to the game, and adds enough new stuff for it to feel all fresh. And don't even get me started on the latest world, Novus. This is by far one of the best worlds in the game. The sheer creativity behind every area in this world, the absurdity of it all, the scenery, it's just amazing. You can tell love was put into this world. Wallaroo is coming out soon, and I am pumped to see what's coming. With the quality of the worlds that we've been getting lately, I have no reason to believe that this world is not going to be amazing. Please don't prove me wrong. Please don't prove me wrong. Please don't prove me wrong. One thing I can commend this game for is that it's not afraid to change things. Whether the changes be good or bad is another story, but there are so many games out there that just don't try new things, ever. Nothing really changes because developers make enough money as is, so why change things? Wizard101 is pretty good about this. Things being added to the game like gender change, name changes, or easier ways to see what gear people are using, small things like this. I have to commend the game for listening to its player base and making things happen when there really isn't a reason why they shouldn't happen. Why not have gender change in the game? There's not really a reason not to, and I feel like most games would not have added that to the game, because games for some reason seem to be scared to add changes like that when it's entirely possible. I promise, I don't entirely hate you, KingStyle. I see that you care about this game, and want it to be a better experience for the player. And while I don't agree with a lot of changes being made, there's still good happening in this game, and I'm excited to see what other small quality of life changes will be made in the future. And not even just the small changes. This game is obviously no stranger to adding major changes to the game that change how the game works. And while I haven't been a fan of these past changes, they're not afraid to do it. And they're probably not afraid to keep doing it. So I think there's a chance for this game to be balanced one day. I think there's a chance for it to be a much better game than it is, which it's not a bad game as it is, it just could be better. And I genuinely have hope. I have hope that things could change. Alright, that's basically it. I just wanted to touch on those things. I know it wasn't everything I could have talked about. I could have talked about so much more, but these are the biggest things that I see when I log into the game. These are the main reasons that when I log in, I end up logging out 30 seconds later. Consequently, this has also been the reason that I haven't posted a video in so long. I might be getting back into the game. I might not. I'll post videos whenever I feel like it. I have a full-time job right now. I am living with other people. My schedule isn't always the best to make a video at the moment. If anyone has made it this far, I genuinely really appreciate you watching this video and listening to my silly opinions about the silly wizard game. Do you agree with anything I said? Do you disagree with everything I said? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys when I see you. See you later, Wizard Gators.